Yep. Hello, everyone. This is Tommy Tush. They call me the tall MD with the worry music, and you're welcome to another episode of the Music How To Sessions. 21 teachings that are very, very essential and core to anyone doing music. Now, today I'm going to be teaching on how to effectively and successfully manage an artist. Now, this is a class that is important for artist managers and for those who are also into artistry, whether you are already there or you are looking at going into artistry. If you have started recording songs and releasing your songs and you're going out there, you need this class. Even though you're not a manager, you need to understand the role of your manager. Okay, what they're supposed to do. Now, let me go straight to the point. I'm going to cover a couple of things that I believe that every artist manager must give attention to. Number one is the vision. Every artist must have a vision. It's not enough to just get into music and you are just releasing songs, and which is what many people do these days. They'll just come up with a song and say, oh, this is the song God gave me. This is the song I got in a dream. This is the song I got in a place of worship. And while we'll appreciate and celebrate your unique encounters, understand that artistry is not about just encounters. Artistry is not about just something you feel like, I just feel led to do this. No. We celebrate your feelings and your leadings. But you see, you are entering into an industry, into a market, into a business space. And there are certain things that you must understand. Number one is that you must have a vision. So even if you have gotten into artistry and there's no vision at the beginning, as an artist manager, one thing you must help that artist to do is that you must help them to be able to craft a vision. From their experience with God, talking about gospel artists right now, from their personality, from their whatever it is they want to do, there must be a vision. Now that vision gives you what I call identity. Okay, something that separates you from everyone. There must be something unique about you as an artist, and that is your vision. What are the things that you want to do with that music? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Or are you just doing music to just pay the next bill? You see, the way you are going to, the way the artist that is doing music just pay the next house rent, to pay the next bill, to buy the next phone, the way that person will do music will be different from the person who is building a legacy, building something, wants to do this for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So as an artist manager, you need to help that artist to get a vision, establish a vision, make them to see the bigger picture. From that vision, craft out an identity. Who is this artist? And everything about your identity, everything about you, directs people to your identity. The way you speak, the way you post on social media, the way you dress, the kind of songs you sing, the kind of post you make, all of those things are important. Okay? The calling of the artist must be defined. What is that artist called to do? So you must help the artist to sit down and say, okay, what am I called to do? What's my calling? Is this artist going into worship leading? Is this artist, singing songs of encouragement? Is this artist an evangelistic, musician? Is this person a recording artist or a performing artist? Is this person strong poet, songwriting? And so maybe that person has to do a lot of collaborations. Is it, you need to be able to figure all of this out. So vision, identity, defined calling, message. What's the message of this artist? You must have a defined message. The artist you're managing must have a defined message. You can't just be doing anything just to cut across, just to go viral, just to blow. No, it's more than that. All right. Now, number two, so in that number one, I have what I call vision. Okay, your vision, what you want to achieve with your music, and then it has a timeline. It's and then you're looking at the identity. You're also looking at the defined calling, the message, the strong message. So there are 4 points in that number one: vision, identity, defined calling. You must know that which you have been called to do, and you must face it. And in the days where everybody wants to blow, everybody wants to do so many things, these are the days where you need to understand what you are called to do and your message. Because you can't just be jumping from singing what is trending now to what will trend again in the next 1 month, which is what many people do. And it's because they've not been able to, identify their own, identify themselves and say, okay, this is my vision, and then I'm going to pursue this thing for the next 10 years if it's going to take me that long to get it. So you can't be jumping from one trend to the other, one song to, it's not about each song, it's about what is your message. Now, that also will define your audience. I'm going to get to that later on. But let me talk about the second point, is that when you have identified these things, then you put a structure around the artist. So as an artist manager, you want to put a structure around that artist. Okay? Structure. I shared, one of the classes that I did about music business, I spoke about the fact that one major thing that record labels bring into the life of an artist is not really the money. Yeah, the money is there, but it's actually structure. I totally believe that, and I've been teaching that for years. It's the structure, because you see, that money, the artist may probably get access to that money without the label. Let's say somebody just sees the artist, like, I'm going to give you, 100 million naira or $500 million or $500,000. Now, if that artist doesn't understand music business and understand structure, it will blow it up and there'll be no result. He will just take the money and just go and say, okay, let's do the greatest single recording ever. Let's do the biggest live recording. Let's record the baddest music video. Let's spend $100,000 to do sponsored ads. Let's do this one. Let's travel to Dubai to record this video. Let's bring 1,000 orchestra, 1,000-man orchestra. And before you know it, the money is finished. But you see, the label has the understanding of the market. And they have structure. They know where to apportion the funds. They know all of those things. That is actually one important thing that a label brings, structure. So when you have identified the calling of the artist, identified all of those things, then you put structure in the life of that artist. And that structure has many, many layers. Okay? But the structure is that, okay, what would this artist be doing in the first 6 months, in the first 1 year? What would the artist be doing? Don't just get into it and then just start releasing songs. No. What would the artist be doing? In the first 1 year, what's the goal in the first 2 years, in the next 6 years? Okay, you plan. Sometimes you see that some labels would get hold of an artist, and for the first 3 years, you're not seeing so much. And then they are probably grooming this person. And after 3 years, boom. Now, somebody else has started off and, like a shooting star came up in the first 6 months and like, man, guy, you are wasting time there under that label. Who is managing you? Blah, 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 blah. And then that person, maybe 5 years, goes down. But this person that has taken 3 years to grow is still standing strong for the next 15 years. So structure is important. What are the things the artist will be doing from now for the next couple of months, for the next couple of years? Okay, structure on their social media. There are things they don't post, social media. So if you want to check all of those things, look, there are places you don't go to, there are things you don't say. Okay, understand your audience. So help the artist to understand their audience. Help the artist to know, okay, this is your audience. So if this is your audience, there's a way to speak to appeal to your audience. There's a way to dress to appeal to your audience. There's a kind of song, or there's a way you will sing to appeal to your audience. Okay, very, very important. So you put that structure, you get the data that is needed to know, okay, what are the things that we need for this artist. When I'm teaching a class on artistry, I always talk to artists about having a calendar. Like, okay, how many songs you want to release this year? How many singles? When are you releasing your first album? How many concerts do you want to do? Are you planning to do a live recording? All of those things, structure. We're going to talk about financial structure later on, but let's talk about the structure of the artistry itself, of the music itself. Okay, what kind of collaborations, what kind of platforms do you want to pitch this artist to? Okay, you put structure into their music. Okay, all of those things are very, very important. The audience, get to define the audience. Don't allow your artist to just try to cut across, you see, because many artists want to cut across, and I understand they want to appeal to so many people. But you see, when it comes to artistry, one of the things that you must understand is that it's not about how widespread you are, but it's about, do you understand your audience and your message? Are you serving your audience your core message? Very, very important. Okay, once you understand your message, your calling is defined, you have your vision, you know your identity, you get your audience, and then you focus on that audience. If your audience is 1,000,000 people, focus on them. Keep on serving them hot. Keep on serving your audience hot, and then you're going to get great results. Okay, now by the time that happens, then you are building a team around that artist, an effective team. Okay, now you have the performing team, which has to do with their music, getting musicians, getting backup singers that can interpret the sound that you have crafted for this artist. I've done a class already on how to define and own your sound as an artist. Please go and watch that class, watch that video. Okay, so you bring together people that will be able to interpret that sound, from the production crew to the singers to the songwriters, all of that, musicians. You bring them together. When this artist has live performances, what does that artist have the hands to interpret that sound? You put that together. You look at the marketing team as well. Okay, who is going to be handling the marketing, the PR, getting when these songs are out, who is handling distribution, who is handling social media, who is handling all of those things. You need to put a structure around that. Okay, now for a gospel artist, it's important that the gospel artist is under a local assembly. I had to pause there because really nowadays is something that you actually rarely see, and some of you may not agree with me, but I know what I'm talking about. Many of the artists that you say are actually under a particular local assembly, in technical sense, they are not under the local assembly. They are just under that assembly for the sake of the name or the platform. Many artists don't have pastors. So if you are managing a gospel artist, it's important that you understand that it's the local assembly is meant to grow individuals. So while this artist is everywhere, don't allow them to unplug from their local assembly. Okay, find a place where you are seated and rooted, and you are being fed the word, and you are being equipped, because the local assembly of the church is where we get equipped to be able to go out to do ministry. So while you are busy doing so many things, don't get to the point where you unplug yourself, because when you unplug yourself from the source, you start losing nutrients and you start losing what to give. And very soon you start compromising. You start losing your grip. It won't show in the first 1 year. It may not even show in the next 5 years, but you see, it will eventually show. Just like a fan, when you look at a fan, maybe a ceiling fan or a standing fan, when you unplug it, it doesn't just stand still. The blades don't just stop immediately. They start reducing in their velocity gradually. So you want to ensure that the artist is still plugged to the local church, plugged to their pastor. They must have a pastor that watches over them. That will keep the artist in check. The music industry is a crazy place. When people start getting famous and start getting money, they start misbehaving. You don't know what people can do until their hand handles some dimension of wealth and fame. So one thing that keeps people in check is when they have this oversight over them. Okay, so you're also looking at performances, looking at, so I've spoken about vision, identity, defined calling, message, your audience, being able to serve your audience properly, structure around the artists in terms of their releases, what their activities and what they do, even rehearsals. All of those things are very important. Okay, many artists don't rehearse. You just depend on as the spirit leads. So you want to ensure that, okay, this artist has some structured rehearsals that they do. Okay, whether there is performance or not, whether there's a gig or not, okay, you go to rehearse. There are times, okay, how many songs? Keep on recording songs. Even if you plan to release 5 songs in a year, make sure you record more than that. Okay, you put a structure also around them in terms of their performances. Singers, musicians, producers, songwriters, put a structure around their music, distribution, marketing, PR, costume, all of those things. Put a structure there. Plug them to their local assembly. Now, in terms of their song, you also want to ensure that your artist is having strategic collaborations, because on their own, they may not really know what to do. So you want to ensure that, okay, this artist is having strategic collaborations. Who will my artist collaborate with? Why? What are we trying to get? What's the purpose? Okay, Okay, all of those things are very, very important. You're also looking at the financial part, the financial structure. Okay, you want to ensure that your artist is getting royalties from their, you're overseeing royalties, you're overseeing payouts. What's the contract with the people working with with the team? Okay, what percentage of funds go to this team? Okay, what's the legacy the artist is building towards? Okay, so that after, maybe after a while, there must be some savings, some investment. All of those things are very, very important. Now, you may need to staff this thing, you may need to put some people to oversee these things, but as the one managing this artist's life is in your hands. You are the one ensuring that this life is not just an artist, the life, an entire life. So you want to ensure that their life is secured. Okay, financially they don't go bankrupt. Also looking at even their relationship life as well. Is this artist currently single? Are they looking to date? Now you're not trying to intrude into their lives, but you also understand that who this artist dates or marries has a lot to do with their viability in the market, with their efficiency in their artistry, with you keeping your job. Because if they go and marry somebody that is unfit for their assignment, they may end up losing momentum, and then the artist becomes a failure, and people will look at you like you failed because this artist was in your hands. So you want to also ensure, so you want to be so close to your artist that you're ensuring that you can't date or marry anybody. And if the artist is married, you want to be on your knees praying that nothing happens to that relationship, at that marriage, because anything that affects that marriage will affect the artist and also affect you. Okay, now these are just a couple of things that I believe that as an artist manager you need to give attention to successfully be able to manage the artist. Now it's important that you understand, now this is my final very, very important point. It's important that you understand the music industry, the music business as a whole. Understand your artist, understand the industry, and be up to date with everything that is happening in that industry. Understand the church scene for gospel artists. Understand the church dynamics, the politics, the interrelationships, everything. Understand those things. Build relationships with people. Be a people person. Don't say I'm a phlegmatic, I don't talk too much. No, connect with people. Build important relationships that will enhance the career of your artist. Okay, these are very key things that you must do. Now, I can go further and deeper, in taking you one-on-one. If you're an artist manager, I can help you to be able to create a vision for your artist. I can help you hold your hand to be able to manage other artists successfully. So you can reach out to me for a private executive class on that. Now, on to the next class. I'm going to be talking about so many things coming up. It's going to be a lot of lessons to learn. But until then, I'm Tommy Tush. I wish you all the best. Bye for now.
Takes us high. In this Parisian night, we touch the sky.